Okay guys, I'm back for part 2, right? So this is part 2 of an observation I did of a little girl, she's 2, that just got diagnosed with autism. And I want to show you what sort of strategies I use. People ask me all the time, right? Because I don't do ABA, I don't do clips, stickers, charts, tickets, tokens, I don't do any of those things. There are people like, so what do you do? And I think this is a good example. Remember, you can DM me for this little girl's report. We have made it anonymous and taking all identifying information out, and also her brother's, because her brother's also diagnosed with autism. So, this is part 2. We did 3 in the first one. We're going to do, I don't know. I did not, my squirrels, they did not count to get what this one is. I just knew that it was getting to be long, and I think the longer it is, the less likely people are to watch all the way through, because we have short attention spans. I certainly do. So the fourth of this report, but the first of part 2 is auditory processing. So I'm not the one that would diagnose that. I only know that the adults I have talked to and hung out with autism, they talk about auditory processing a lot. And they talk about how for neurotypical humans, we have an easier time hearing it, understanding it, making a plan, processing it, and moving forward. Where the neurodivergent kids and adults I talk to have a harder time with this. So we have to repeat it often. We have to say it slowly. We have to take out the background noise and maybe make it a quieter area. So this little girl did this in it's snack time. She didn't have to sit, but you have to stay at the table to eat. And she kept going and away. And we kept gently saying, oh, remember, at the table, if you're going to eat, I could take the snack to the table and keep it there, and I will watch it if you want to play. I could take it to the table and you could go back and eat. You could take it to the table. She ended up, every time going back to the table, we were very calm. And I thought, we said it, upwards of 7, 10 times. And then I thought, I wonder if, right, I think a lot of adults would say, like, oh, she's being defiant. She wasn't being defiant as much as I think that it just wasn't clicking. That you need to stay at the table for safety. And there's also so people like, so we have to say it 10 times? Yeah, guys, there's not an easier way. Right? A lot of people are trying to find easier. So if you don't go to the table, I take the snack. That's punishment. If you go to the table and stay at the table, you get a star if you stay at the table the whole time, right? That's a reward. It's just sometimes the not easiest strategy is to say it over and over and over and over, right? We're not looking for fun, fast, and easy. We are looking for something that works. And I know I worked with an autistic little boy, and there were these wood chips at a playground. And he could not go off the wood chips because then there was grass and then there was the road. So off the wood chips onto the grass was our warning sign of, I'm not sure you're not going to go on the road, so we need to stop at the end of the wood chips. And the mom and I, right, so he's a twin, and so it was 2 adults with 2 kids. And the mom would take a little bit and keep bringing it back. He was not happy with us. I would take a little bit and bring it back. We did that for an hour and a half, and the mom's like, is there an easier strategy? And I was like, no. We have to keep doing it over and over, and we can't acquiesce. We can't let him go. I know that would be easier. And we did it for an hour and a half, and the mom's like, oh, man, do we have to do this every time? She said the next time she went to the playground, he went off the wood chips one time and then never again. She goes to go to the playground all the time. He doesn't go off the wood chips anymore. Yes, because we taught him. It just took longer than we wanted it to take. So let's not try to shorten the strategy with reward or punishment. Sometimes that is the strategy, and we have to put time and patience into it. Okay, so I don't know. Second one, maybe it's the second one of part 2. Who knows? Is that this little girl likes sensory activities and she likes heavy work, right? Heavy work is the movement that your brain needs that is the most calming. She was filling a wheelbarrow, and I kept saying, hey, what about this? What about this? Trying to make the wheelbarrow heavier because it was easier. It was better for her brain and more calming. She also likes sensory activities. So what are they? Can we put them in a basket? What sensory activities do you not like? Right? I just watched a video of somebody, an autistic woman shopping, and she just feels all the clothes. And she's like, I don't even look if I like them or not. I just feel them. She said, because as much as I like sensory, I'm also averse to sensory. So she had to pick the clothes that were going to work for her. And I said, and so I'm thinking of this little girl, and I was like, okay, make a basket so she could go to the sensory activities to calm down, figure out which ones she doesn't like, because that's where maybe the scream comes in. Maybe that's where the auditory processing is a little bit slower. Look at me, guys. Look at my notes and I even highlighted. So it looks like I'm on top of things. I shouldn't have told you just so you thought my squirrels were on top of things. You guys all know that's not true. Also, when you give someone, all kids, but especially kids that maybe have auditory processing or take a little bit longer to form a plan, make a plan, and do the plan, is to count to 10 before repeating your directive. You need to give them time to process. So when we told her to come back to the snack table, we counted to 10 to let her process, and then we went to go get her. So in my experience in the research I've done, meaning the ones I've written down on a piece of paper, every time I say that strategy and I do that strategy, it's about 90% successful, right? Sometimes with dominant direct kids, it fails. Sometimes with kids with auditory processing, or they need more time to process. Not that it fails, it just takes longer. So let's make sure we count to 10. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like a little kid would count. But like you used to do when you were little with 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and not out loud in your head, because then the kids will actually count with you, and that's probably frustrating. And the last one is, the mom said this little girl picks often. She will find something and pick it. So let's chase the why. So how can we replace the behavior with your hands? It's not, let's not pick, let's take deep breaths. Well, deep breaths with your mouth. Picking is with your hands. Let's make sure we're finding something to pick. So the mom says, when she does that, I give her stickers to peel and stick. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. Because, with stickers, it's really hard to peel them. And she picks and picks and picks and picks. So instead of picking a wall or picking her skin or picking something, she is replicating as best she can that behavior with something appropriate. And then also, what other activities can we do to replicate this picking, because it has to meet the same sensory need, or what's the need behind it, and then how do we replicate that so it meets that same need in the brain and the body. All right, guys, we did it. We did part 1 and part 2. I did not talk for 3,000 hours. I kind of feel like it was 3,000 hours. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. Remember to DM me for the brothers' strategies, and this little girl strategies, and I will send them your way. Love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.